Section 1. Introduction. Learning a new language can sometimes feel like a challenging journey, but it can also be a very rewarding and enjoyable experience. One of the best ways to learn English is through reading books. Books open up new worlds, provide context for new vocabulary, and introduce learners to the natural flow of the language. In this comprehensive guide, I will share with you how reading can be an effective tool for improving your English. I will discuss the many benefits of reading, how to choose the right books, strategies to enhance comprehension and retention, and ways to integrate reading into your daily routine. Whether you are a beginner, an intermediate learner, or someone looking to polish your skills further, this guide is designed to help you improve your English while enjoying the process. When I first started learning English, I was overwhelmed by the numerous grammar rules and endless vocabulary lists. I often wondered how native speakers managed to speak so effortlessly. My turning point came when I picked up a simple novel recommended by a friend. At first, I did not understand everything, but the story fascinated me and motivated me to learn more. Gradually, I began to see patterns in the language and noticed how words fit together in natural sentences. I soon realized that reading was not just about learning words. It was about feeling the rhythm and flow of English. Books provide a unique way of learning because they offer rich context. When you read a dialogue in a book, you see how native speakers express themselves in everyday situations. Characters' conversations, inner thoughts, and vivid descriptions give you clues about the meanings of words and how grammatical structures work in practice. This context-based learning helps build a solid foundation in the language. Moreover, reading exposes you to cultural nuances and idiomatic expressions that you might not find in a textbook. Another major benefit of reading is that it lets you learn at your own pace. In a classroom, a teacher sets the pace, but when you read, you control how fast or slow you go. You can pause, reflect, and even reread difficult passages as many times as you need. This self-paced approach improves retention and deepens understanding. By reading regularly, you develop a habit that steadily enhances your language skills over time. Besides building vocabulary and understanding grammar, reading improves many other aspects of your cognitive abilities. It enhances concentration, fosters critical thinking, and even builds empathy. When you dive into a story, you learn to see things from different perspectives and understand the feelings of characters. This active engagement with the text makes learning English a more complete experience. A well-written novel, for example, can introduce you not only to new words, but also to insights about life, relationships, and the world around you. One challenge many learners face is finding materials that match their current level of proficiency. It is important to choose books that are neither too easy nor too challenging. Starting with level-appropriate texts keeps you motivated and prevents frustration. As your skills improve, you can gradually move on to more demanding works. The variety is endless, from short stories and novels to nonfiction works and even graphic novels. Every type of book offers different advantages and contributes to your learning journey. The benefits of reading extend beyond vocabulary and grammar. Reading teaches you how to structure sentences, use transition words, and express your ideas clearly. With time, you begin to adopt these structures naturally, which improves your speaking and writing. Exposure to different writing styles also helps you develop your unique voice in English. Perhaps one of the best parts about reading is that it can be a lot of fun. Many people love to get lost in a good book, and that enjoyment makes learning feel less like hard work and more like an adventure. The key is to choose books that interest you. When you enjoy the subject matter, you are more likely to stick with it and absorb the language effortlessly. Reading can also be a social activity. Joining a book club or an online community to discuss your favorite reads is a great way to practice both your speaking and writing skills. Throughout this guide, I will use simple language and clear explanations so that you can easily follow along. Pay close attention to the sentence structures, vocabulary choices, and the overall flow of the text. By doing so, you will naturally improve your listening and comprehension skills. The goal is not just to share information, but to immerse you in the language itself. To sum up, reading books is an excellent method for learning English. It offers a mix of entertainment, education, and cultural insight that few other methods provide. In the next sections, we will explore in detail the benefits of reading, ways to choose the right books, effective reading techniques, and strategies for incorporating what you read into everyday communication. Whether you aim to expand your vocabulary, sharpen your grammar, or simply enjoy a captivating story, reading can help you reach your goals. So, let's begin this journey together, one page at a time. One of the most significant aspects of learning through reading is that it naturally builds your vocabulary. When you encounter new words in context, you see how they are used within sentences. This helps you remember their meanings and learn how to use them appropriately in your own writing or speaking. Rather than memorizing isolated words, you learn them as part of a bigger picture. For example, reading a sentence like "The old man ambled slowly down the street" not only teaches you the word ambled, but also shows you its nuance and how it fits into everyday conversation. In addition, reading improves your understanding of grammar without the need to study rules explicitly. As you read, your brain picks up on various sentence structures and grammatical patterns naturally. This method of learning by exposure can be much more effective than trying to remember complex rules. Over time, you start to internalize these patterns, and they become a natural part of how you use the language. Reading is also a flexible activity. It can be done anywhere, anytime, whether during a short break at work, on a quiet afternoon at home, or even while traveling. This flexibility makes it easy to fit reading into even the busiest schedules. Even a few pages a day can accumulate into significant progress over time. The consistency of regular reading builds strong language habits that support long-term learning. Moreover, reading is not limited to acquiring language skills. It also enriches your life. It exposes you to different cultures, ideas, and experiences. As you read about the lives of characters or the history of faraway lands, you gain insights into the world that extend beyond language alone. This broader perspective can make your learning experience even more fulfilling. For those who are just beginning, I recommend keeping a notebook while reading. Write down any new words or phrases you encounter, along with their meanings and examples of how they are used. This simple habit can transform your reading sessions into active learning experiences. Every word you record and review becomes a building block in your growing knowledge of English. Finally, remember that learning English through reading is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be moments of frustration and days when progress seems slow. However, each page you turn brings you one step closer to fluency. Enjoy the journey, celebrate small victories, and keep going. With every book you finish, you are not only learning English, you are also gaining insights and experiences that enrich your life. In conclusion, this introduction has laid the groundwork for understanding why reading is a powerful way to learn English. It has highlighted the benefits, from vocabulary building to the development of cognitive skills, and offered some practical tips for getting started. As you continue reading this guide, keep an open mind and explore various types of books. The world of English literature is vast and full of treasures waiting to be discovered. Embrace the journey, and let your passion for reading guide you to new levels of fluency and understanding. Section 2. The benefits of reading books for language acquisition. Reading is one of the most natural ways to acquire a new language, and its benefits are wide-ranging. One of the primary advantages is that it helps you learn vocabulary in context. Instead of memorizing isolated words, you see how they work together in sentences, which deepens your understanding of their meanings. For instance, when you read "The bright sun illuminated the clear blue sky," you learn adjectives and nouns side by side, grasping how they complement one another. This contextual learning makes it easier to remember and apply new vocabulary. Another major benefit of reading is the intuitive improvement in grammar. As you see a variety of sentence structures repeatedly, your brain begins to recognize patterns naturally. This indirect learning of grammar can be more effective than studying dry grammar rules from a textbook. Over time, you internalize these patterns and use them effortlessly in your own speech and writing. You start to understand subtle differences between similar structures, which helps you communicate more accurately. Reading also exposes you to different writing styles and registers of the language. For example, you may come across casual dialogue in a novel, a formal argument in an essay, or descriptive passages in a travel book. Each of these genres offers unique insights into how English is used in various contexts. This variety not only keeps the learning process interesting, but also prepares you for real-life situations, whether in formal or informal settings. Understanding these nuances is especially important if you plan to use English in professional or academic environments. Another important benefit is that reading improves your listening and speaking skills, even though it is primarily a silent activity. As you read, you begin to notice the rhythm and intonation of English. Your brain starts to simulate the sounds of the language, which gradually enhances your pronunciation and fluency. If you pair your reading with audiobooks, you receive the added benefit of hearing native pronunciation and natural intonation. This dual approach, seeing the words and hearing them, reinforces your learning and helps you become more confident in your spoken English. Beyond language skills, reading opens the door to different cultures and ways of thinking. Language and culture are closely linked, and by reading texts from various backgrounds, you gain insights into the customs, beliefs, and values of different communities. This cultural awareness not only makes your language use richer, but also helps you communicate with empathy and understanding. For those who travel or work internationally, this cultural competence is an invaluable asset. One of the most exciting aspects of reading is the freedom to explore a wide array of topics. Whether you are interested in history, science, art, or personal development, there is always a book that will capture your attention. This personal connection to the subject matter makes learning more enjoyable and engaging. When you are passionate about what you are reading, you are more likely to stick with it and absorb the language naturally. Additionally, specialized vocabulary related to your interests can make you a more versatile speaker and writer. Another significant advantage is that reading is a solitary activity that fits easily into your daily life. You do not need a formal classroom setting or a teacher to guide you. You can read whenever and wherever it suits you. Even if you only have a few spare minutes a day, those moments add up over time. Consistent daily practice, no matter how brief, can lead to significant improvements in your language proficiency. The habit of reading also supports the development of other language skills. It reinforces writing by exposing you to well-structured sentences and a rich vocabulary. It improves listening skills by familiarizing you with the natural cadence of the language, and it boosts your confidence when speaking, as you become more comfortable using new expressions that you have encountered in texts. In this way, reading acts as the cornerstone of your overall language development. Moreover, as you progress in your reading journey, you will likely notice an increase in self-confidence. You begin to understand more words, follow more complex narratives, and find it easier to express your thoughts in English. Each new book you complete is a milestone, a tangible marker of your progress. This growing confidence encourages you to engage in conversations and try new expressions, accelerating your learning even further. It is also important to remember that the benefits of reading extend beyond mere language acquisition. Regular reading is known to reduce stress, improve concentration, and even enhance empathy. Immersing yourself in a good book allows you to escape the pressures of everyday life and relax. A calm and relaxed mind absorbs new information more effectively, making it a perfect state for learning. In today's digital world, reading remains a timeless and valuable activity. Books come in many formats, printed, digital, or audio, making them accessible to everyone. This versatility means that, regardless of your situation, you can always find a way to engage with great literature and learn from it. Whether you choose a traditional paperback, an ebook on your tablet, or an audiobook while you exercise, each format offers unique benefits that can enhance your language learning experience. Finally, reading fosters a lifelong love for learning. It opens your eyes to new ideas, challenges you to think critically, and encourages curiosity. This intellectual stimulation not only enriches your understanding of English, but also broadens your overall perspective. As you explore different books, you learn to appreciate diverse viewpoints and expand your knowledge in many areas of life. In summary, the benefits of reading books for language acquisition are extensive. From building vocabulary and mastering grammar to improving listening skills and increasing cultural awareness, reading is a powerful tool that can transform your approach to learning English. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into how to choose the right books, effective reading techniques, and ways to incorporate daily language practices into your routine. Embrace the power of reading, and you will see your English skills flourish. One method embraced by many successful language learners is extensive reading. This approach involves reading large amounts of material that is just slightly below your maximum comprehension level. The goal is to enjoy the story without having to stop frequently to look up words. Over time, your fluency improves naturally as you become more comfortable with the language. In contrast, intensive reading focuses on shorter texts where you analyze each sentence carefully. By combining both extensive and intensive reading methods, you can create a balanced and effective language learning strategy. Ultimately, every time you open a book, you are making a step forward in your language journey. Every new word learned, every sentence understood, and every new concept grasped contributes to your overall mastery of English. The cumulative benefits of reading will continue to enhance your skills long into the future. Section 3. Choosing the right books and materials. One of the most important steps in learning English through reading is choosing the right books and materials. The proper selection can make your reading experience both enjoyable and effective. When selecting books, it is crucial to consider your current proficiency level, personal interests, and learning goals. First and foremost, choose books that match your current level of English. If you are a beginner, start with simpler texts. Look for books that use everyday vocabulary and simple sentence structures. Children's books, young adult novels, or specially designed graded readers are excellent for beginners because they are written in clear, accessible language. As your skills improve, you can gradually move on to more complex texts that challenge you just enough to learn without overwhelming you. For intermediate learners, consider books that push you slightly beyond your comfort zone. Look for stories that introduce new words and phrases in context while still being understandable. A mix of fiction and nonfiction can be very helpful at this stage. Fiction may improve your understanding of dialogue and narrative flow, while nonfiction introduces you to specialized vocabulary and factual language. By diversifying the materials you read, you ensure a well-rounded learning experience that covers both conversational language and more formal styles. For advanced learners, the range of choices is even broader. At this stage, you can explore classic literature, contemporary novels, academic texts, and technical manuals. The key is to select materials that interest you and that challenge your understanding of the language. Reading texts that include idiomatic expressions, cultural references, and sophisticated structures will not only refine your skills, but also deepen your appreciation for the language's nuances. Another important consideration is the format of the material. Books are available in many formats today: printed, digital, and audio. Each format has its own advantages. Printed books offer a tactile, traditional experience that allows you to annotate and flip through pages easily. Ebooks are convenient and portable. You can carry an entire library with you and adjust the text size to suit your needs. Audiobooks provide the added benefit of hearing the language, which can be particularly helpful for improving your pronunciation and listening skills. In many cases, using a combination of these formats can enhance your overall learning experience. When choosing a book, think about the subject matter and the author's writing style. If you have a specific interest, be it travel, cooking, sports, or history, look for books on those topics. When you are interested in the subject, you're more likely to remain engaged with the text and absorb new words and expressions more naturally. Additionally, pay attention to the writing style. Some authors write in a very straightforward manner, while others use more descriptive or complex language. Experiment with different styles to see which one helps you learn best. It is often helpful to start with books that have been specifically adapted for language learners. Graded readers are books that have been simplified to match different proficiency levels and often include glossaries and comprehension questions. These features are especially beneficial for beginners and intermediate learners. Graded readers allow you to gradually introduce new vocabulary and grammar structures in a controlled manner, making the transition to more challenging text smoother and more enjoyable. Consider also using supplementary materials that support your reading. Many language learning books come with audio components, study guides, or online resources. Using these additional tools can deepen your understanding of the material. For example, listening to the audio version of a book while reading along can help reinforce pronunciation and the natural flow of the language. Personal recommendations can be incredibly valuable when selecting reading materials. Ask teachers, friends, or fellow language learners which books they found helpful. Many libraries and online platforms curate lists of recommended books for language learners. Don't be afraid to try different books until you find the ones that suit your taste and learning style. Remember, the best book is the one you enjoy reading. If you're not interested in the story, it will be much harder to stay motivated. Beyond traditional books, consider incorporating other types of reading materials into your routine. Magazines, newspapers, blogs, and online articles provide exposure to contemporary language and current topics. These shorter texts are easier to digest and often use everyday language that is directly applicable to real-life conversations. Mixing longer books with shorter articles can offer a balanced approach to language learning, ensuring that you are well prepared for a variety of communication scenarios. Another tip is to create a to-read list that includes a variety of genres and topics. This list can guide your reading journey and ensure you always have something interesting to pick up next. Update your list regularly as your interests evolve and as you progress in your language skills. A dynamic reading list not only keeps your learning fresh, but also challenges you to explore new ideas and vocabulary. Finally, set realistic reading goals. Whether you aim to read one book per month or a certain number of pages each day, having clear targets can help you track your progress and stay motivated. Small, achievable goals add up over time and can lead to significant improvements in your language proficiency. In conclusion, choosing the right books and materials is a critical step in learning English through reading. By selecting texts that match your proficiency level, align with your interests, and are available in accessible formats, you set yourself up for success. A thoughtful selection of materials will make your learning experience both enjoyable and effective. As you move forward in this guide, you will learn various strategies to maximize the benefits of the books you choose. Remember, the process of selecting reading material is ongoing. As you grow more confident and your skills improve, your interests and reading needs may change. Stay flexible and open to new challenges, and your journey through English literature will be a continuously rewarding experience. Section 4. Effective Reading Strategies and Techniques. Developing effective reading strategies is essential for making the most of your language learning journey. It is not enough to simply read. You must read actively and with a clear purpose. In this section, we will discuss various techniques and strategies that can help you improve your comprehension, retention, and overall enjoyment of reading in English. One of the most important strategies is to practice active reading. Active reading means engaging with the text by asking questions, making predictions, and summarizing what you have read. Rather than passively absorbing words, pause regularly to think about their meaning and how they connect with the surrounding sentences. For example, before starting a new chapter, ask yourself what might happen next. While reading, stop after each section to summarize the main points in your own words. This exercise not only reinforces your understanding, but also helps you identify areas that need more review. Using context clues to figure out the meaning of unfamiliar words is another valuable technique. When you come across a word you do not know, try to infer its meaning from the surrounding text. Look at the sentences before and after the word and consider what fits logically. Often, the author provides hints or even synonyms that can guide you. If the word remains unclear, write it down along with the sentence and look up its definition later. This method of learning words in context is much more effective than simply memorizing dictionary definitions. Another tip is to read aloud whenever possible. Reading aloud forces you to slow down and pay attention to each word, which can improve your pronunciation and fluency. When you read aloud, you begin to notice the natural rhythm and intonation of English. This practice is especially beneficial if you record yourself and listen back to spot areas for improvement. Even if you feel self-conscious at first, try reading aloud in a quiet place where you feel comfortable. Over time, this will build your confidence in speaking. Visual aids can also play an important role in your reading process. Many learners find that creating diagrams or mind maps helps organize information from a text. For example, if you are reading a mystery novel, you might draw a chart of the characters and their relationships, or create a timeline of events. Visual summaries like these can help solidify your understanding of the plot and the language used. They also make the reading experience more interactive and engaging. Setting specific goals for each reading session is another effective strategy. Instead of reading just to pass the time, decide on an objective before you begin, such as learning 10 new words, understanding a particular grammar point, or summarizing a section of the text. Clear objectives help maintain focus and provide a sense of accomplishment when you achieve them. They also allow you to measure your progress over time and adjust your learning strategies as needed. Using supplementary materials that come with many language learning books can further enhance your understanding. Many graded readers or educational texts include glossaries, comprehension questions, or discussion prompts at the end of chapters. After finishing a chapter, try to answer these questions without looking back at the text. This self-assessment reinforces your learning and shows you where you might need to review. The extra practice provided by these supplementary materials is invaluable in building long-term retention. Digital tools are another resource you should consider. There are numerous apps and online platforms designed for language learners. Many of these apps let you highlight text, look up definitions instantly, and even take interactive quizzes based on your reading. Ebooks with built-in dictionaries or annotation features can streamline your study process and keep your reading experience dynamic. These digital tools provide instant feedback, which is crucial for identifying strengths and areas in need of improvement. It is also important to vary your reading speed based on the material and your goals. Sometimes, when you encounter a challenging passage or new concepts, slow down to fully absorb the details. Other times, when reading familiar or simpler texts, you can increase your pace. Experiment with different speeds and notice how your understanding changes. The goal is not to read as quickly as possible, but to read in a way that maximizes comprehension and enjoyment. After you finish reading a book or a chapter, take the time to review and reflect on what you have learned. Ask yourself questions like, what was the main idea of this passage? Or, how can I apply what I just read to my own use of English? Reflecting on the material helps consolidate your memory and deepens your overall understanding. This reflection is an essential part of transforming passive reading into active learning. Building a regular reading routine is key to long-term improvement. Consistency is more important than occasional long sessions. Even if you only manage to read for a short period every day, this consistent practice will gradually build your proficiency. Create a quiet, comfortable space where you can focus without distractions. A dedicated reading area signals to your mind that it is time to concentrate and learn. Finally, be patient with yourself and enjoy the process. Learning a language is a journey filled with small victories and occasional setbacks. Every time you practice reading actively and use the strategies mentioned, you are moving closer to fluency. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and remember that each page you read builds your skills and confidence. In summary, effective reading strategies and techniques, such as active reading, using context clues, reading aloud, employing visual aids, setting goals, using supplementary materials, integrating digital tools, adjusting your reading speed, reviewing, and building a consistent routine, are essential tools in your language learning journey. By applying these strategies, you will not only improve your comprehension and retention, but also develop a deeper, more intuitive grasp of English. With patience and persistence, every reading session becomes a stepping stone toward greater fluency and confidence. Section 5. Incorporating daily practices and communication while reading books is a powerful method for learning English. It is equally important to incorporate daily practices and communication into your routine. Language is best learned through regular interaction, and by combining reading with everyday activities, you reinforce and expand your skills. One effective way to start is by establishing a daily reading routine. Choose a specific time each day, whether it is early in the morning, during a lunch break, or right before bed, to read in English. Even if you only have 15 to 20 minutes, the key is to make reading a regular habit. This daily commitment helps you immerse yourself in the language consistently and makes steady progress over time. Beyond setting aside time for reading, try to use what you learn in your daily conversations. If you come across new words or phrases while reading, make an effort to incorporate them into your everyday speech. For example, after reading a chapter full of descriptive adjectives, try describing something in your surroundings using those adjectives. This practice moves new words from your passive vocabulary into active use, reinforcing your learning and boosting your confidence. Another practical approach is to join a book club or reading group. Such groups provide a chance to discuss what you have read with others who share your interest in learning English. Whether the group meets in person or online, the conversations that follow a reading session can deepen your understanding of the text and expose you to different interpretations. Participating in discussions not only enhances your comprehension, but also provides valuable speaking practice in a supportive environment. If you do not have access to a local book club, consider finding a language exchange partner. Language exchanges involve partnering with a native English speaker who is learning your language. You can alternate conversations in both languages, helping each other improve. This type of real-life interaction gives you immediate feedback and helps you become more comfortable with everyday communication. Regular conversations with a language partner can also help you overcome the fear of making mistakes. Integrating reading with other language activities, such as writing and listening, can further enhance your learning. After finishing a book or a chapter, try writing a brief summary or a review in English. This exercise reinforces your understanding of the material and gives you practice in organizing your thoughts in English. Sharing your written summaries with a teacher or a friend for feedback can provide additional insights and help you improve your writing skills. Listening to the audiobook version of the material you are reading is another effective strategy. Many books are available in both written and audio formats. By listening to a native speaker while following along with the text, you reinforce the connection between written words and their correct pronunciation. This simultaneous exposure improves your listening comprehension and helps you learn the natural rhythm and intonation of English. Audiobooks are especially convenient when you are on the move, whether you are commuting, exercising, or simply relaxing. In today's digital world, numerous apps and online resources are available to help language learners. Many of these platforms offer interactive exercises, quizzes, and games based on the text you read. Some even allow you to set daily reading goals and track your progress over time. These digital tools make learning more engaging and can help keep you motivated by providing immediate feedback and measurable milestones. Keeping a language journal is another helpful practice. In your journal, write down new words, phrases, and expressions you come across during your reading. Include example sentences, your own thoughts, or even doodles that help you remember the words. Reviewing your journal regularly allows you to see your progress over time and serves as a personalized vocabulary bank that you can refer to whenever needed. Connecting your reading to real-life situations can also be very beneficial. For instance, if you have just read a travel guide or a book about cooking, try to use the vocabulary from the text in your daily life. Discuss travel plans with friends or try out a new recipe, making a conscious effort to use the new English words you have learned. By linking what you read to everyday activities, you make the language more relevant and easier to remember. It is also important to expose yourself to various forms of English beyond books. Watching movies, listening to podcasts, or following English news channels can complement your reading practice. These different media provide exposure to diverse accents, slang, and cultural references that you might not encounter in written texts alone. Combining these activities creates a richer and more immersive language environment. Finally, remember that your journey in learning English is personal and unique. Experiment with different routines and strategies until you find the mix that works best for you. Some days, you might have plenty of time to read and practice. Other days, even a few minutes will do. What matters is that you continue to engage with the language every day. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and don't be discouraged by occasional setbacks. Consistent practice, coupled with the joy of reading, will steadily lead you toward fluency. In summary, incorporating daily practices and communication into your language learning routine amplifies the benefits of reading. By establishing a regular reading habit, using new vocabulary in your conversations, joining discussion groups or language exchanges, and using digital tools, you create a comprehensive and dynamic approach to mastering English. These daily practices not only strengthen your reading skills, but also boost your overall fluency, making it easier to navigate everyday interactions in English. Embrace these strategies, and soon you will find that your confidence and competence in the language grow steadily every day. Section 6. Personal experiences, challenges, and conclusion. Every language learner has a personal story, and sharing these experiences can be both inspiring and instructive. In this final section, I want to share some of my own experiences with learning English through reading, discuss the challenges I encountered, and offer a few concluding thoughts on the journey to language mastery. When I first began learning English, I was filled with both excitement and apprehension. The language seemed vast and complex, and I often felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of new vocabulary and grammatical structures. However, I soon discovered that reading could be a gentle and enjoyable way to navigate these challenges. I remember picking up a simple novel recommended by a friend. The language was straightforward, and the story was engaging. I kept a small notebook beside me, writing down every new word I encountered. Over time, as I revisited these words in different contexts, I began to see improvements in both my understanding and confidence. That initial success showed me that even small, consistent efforts in reading can lead to meaningful progress. One of the biggest challenges I faced was maintaining consistency. There were many days when work or personal commitments left little time for reading. On such days, I felt frustrated and worried that I was not making enough progress. Eventually, I learned that it is not the length of a single reading session that matters, but the habit of reading regularly. I began to incorporate reading into even the brief moments of my day, during my commute, while waiting for an appointment, or even just before sleep. Even a few pages at a time added up, and this consistency made all the difference in my learning journey. Another challenge was dealing with the frustration of not understanding every detail. At times, I would encounter complex sentences or idiomatic expressions that left me puzzled. Rather than feeling discouraged, I learned to treat these moments as opportunities to deepen my understanding. I would mark the passage, look up unfamiliar words later, and sometimes reread the section to see if I could grasp the meaning better on a second pass. This patient, step-by-step approach taught me that it is perfectly normal not to understand everything immediately. In fact, it is the process of gradually piecing together meaning that builds lasting knowledge. Over the years, I experimented with different genres and styles of books. I discovered that I particularly enjoyed novels with rich storytelling and vivid characters. These books not only improved my language skills, but also gave me insights into different cultures and ways of life. Reading about characters facing real-life challenges helped me see the practical side of language learning. I also ventured into nonfiction, reading biographies and historical accounts, which broadened my vocabulary and gave me a deeper appreciation for the language. Each type of book taught me something new and added a different layer to my understanding of English. There were also moments when I compared myself to other learners and felt discouraged by the pace of my progress. It is easy to feel frustrated when you see others who seem to advance faster, but I learned that language learning is a highly personal process. Everyone has different strengths, weaknesses, and paces. What truly matters is that you keep moving forward, no matter how slowly. I began to celebrate even the smallest achievements, a new word learned, a conversation held without hesitation, or simply understanding a difficult passage. These little victories built up my confidence over time and reminded me that progress is cumulative. One memory that stands out is the first time I held a conversation in English with a native speaker. I was nervous, but excited to put into practice everything I had learned from reading. During that conversation, I realized that many of the expressions and sentence patterns I had absorbed from books came naturally into play. I was able to understand the conversation and even contribute my own thoughts. That moment was a turning point for me. It confirmed that my hard work had paid off and that reading had not only improved my understanding, but had also given me the confidence to use English in real-life situations. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that reading has been one of the most rewarding aspects of learning English. It has opened doors to new worlds, broadened my horizons, and enriched my life in countless ways. Through books, I have traveled to faraway lands, met fascinating characters, and experienced events that have deepened my understanding of the human experience. Each book has left its mark, contributing to both my language skills and my personal growth. In conclusion, learning English through reading is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and constant growth. While the path may be demanding at times, every page you turn brings you closer to fluency. By choosing the right materials, applying effective reading strategies, and integrating what you read into your daily interactions, you can make steady progress and enjoy every step of the journey. Remember to be patient with yourself, celebrate your achievements, and embrace both the struggles and the joys of learning. As you continue your journey through English literature, keep in mind that every word you learn, every sentence you understand, and every conversation you have is a step forward. Let your passion for reading be the spark that lights your way to mastery. May your journey be filled with wonderful stories, valuable lessons, and the endless excitement of discovery, one page at a time. Thank you for reading this comprehensive guide. Whether you are listening or reading along, I hope that the ideas and strategies shared here inspire you to make reading a central part of your language learning journey. Remember, the journey may be long, but every page brings you closer to fluency and opens up a world of new experiences and opportunities. Happy reading, and best of luck on your path to mastering English.